Welcome to 21st Sports, and we're talking the Washington Redskins at the New York Giants and their Week 3 matchup played September 25th, 2016, as these two NFC East Division rivals went at it, and entering the game, the Giants were undefeated and the Redskins were winless. And the Redskins could not afford to lose this game and go down 0-3 and lose a game against the division rival. The Giants, they needed to win this one to keep pace for the division title, and they could ill afford to lose a game against a division rival at home. But it was a wild game. It was back and forth. It looked like it could have went either way. Came all the way down to the wire. But it started off with a 1-yard touchdown run by Shane Vereen that put the first points on the board as the Giants went up 7-0. Dustin Hopkins would hit a 49-yard field goal to put Washington's first points on the board to make it 7-3. Still in the first, then Eli Manning hooked up with Sterling Shepard for a 23-yard touchdown, and now the G-men were up 14-3. Dustin Hopkins would hit his second field goal of the first quarter, a 33-yarder, and it was 14-6 after 1 quarter of play. Then in the second quarter, Hopkins hit his third field goal of the game, a 45-yarder, and it was now a 5-point game with the Giants still ahead with the score 14-9. Then Orleans Darkwa put it in the end zone with a 2-yard touchdown run and extended the Giants' lead to 12 as they were now ahead 21-9 after the extra point by Brown. But then with a little less than 4 minutes left before halftime, Kirk Cousins airs it out to Deshaun Jackson, and the result would be a 44-yard touchdown, and it was back to a 5-point game with the score 21-16 with the Giants ahead going into halftime. Then in the third quarter, Kirk Cousins would hit Jamison Crowder for a 55-yard touchdown, and now the Redskins were ahead for the first time in this game with the score Washington 23, New York 21. Josh Brown would give the Giants the lead back with a 29-yard field goal, and the score was now 24-23. That would be the score heading into the fourth quarter. And just seconds into the fourth, the Redskins would take back the lead, courtesy of a 25-yard field goal by Dustin Hopkins. His fourth field goal of the game made it 26-24, Washington. But then the Giants took the lead back as it was going back and forth. With about 8 minutes left before the end of regulation, Josh Brown hit a 30-yard field goal that made it 27-26 as the Giants were up by 1. But then with less than 2 minutes left to play in this game, Dustin Hopkins hit his fifth field goal, a 37-yarder, and now the Redskins were up 29-27. With just less than 2 minutes left now, the Giants got the ball and they had a chance, and it looked like Eli might lead them to victory, another one of his comebacks, but no. Instead, it was Cravens, the rookie from USC, intercepting Eli Manning, and that was all she wrote for the Giants as the Redskins hold on to win this one and get their first victory of the season. They're now 1-2, and the Giants are 2-1, their first loss of the season in this very tightly contested rivalry game. Like I said, it was quite the game. Beckham and Norman going at it. We saw the center get ejected for the Giants. It was a wild fourth quarter, and it came all the way down to the end. And Eli, he doesn't usually come up with an interception in that situation. Usually you see him leading the comeback. He's led 35 comebacks, but this would not be his 36th. Instead, it would be a W for the Redskins. And Kirk Cousins, no interceptions. He was 21 for 35, 296 passing yards, and 2 touchdowns. Eli Manning, 25 for 38, 350 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, including that fourth quarter interception that would all but end the game. The leading rusher in the game, Shane Vereen for New York, 11 carries, 67 yards and a touchdown. Darkwa had 10 carries for 53 yards and a touchdown. And for Washington, Matt Jones, 17 carries for 65 yards. Odell Beckham had 7 catches for 121 yards. And Deshaun Jackson had 5 catches for 96 yards and a touchdown. Crowder with 4 receptions for 78 yards and a touchdown as well. Let me look at the defense. And for Washington, Baker had a sack and a forced fumble. Dunbar with an interception. Cravens with that interception that would seal the victory. Murphy also had a sack. And for New York, JPP with a sack and a forced fumble. And Olivier Vernon with a sack as well for the Giants. The Giants actually had more first downs, 28-20. And on fourth down, both teams in the 40th percentile, 44% for the Giants, 43% for the Redskins. The Giants were 4 for 9 on third down. The Redskins 7 of 16. They also converted a fourth down. Their only fourth down attempted as they were 1 for 1 on fourth. Total net yards, 457 for the Giants, 403 for the Redskins. Let me look at the penalty yards in this game, though. They really hurt the Giants. Some very costly penalties. 11 penalties, 128 penalty yards. Just 8 penalties for 70 yards for the Redskins, which is quite a bit, but not compared to 11 for 128. Both teams had 3 fumbles, and both teams each lost 1, and both teams recovered 2 of their own. And then we look at the red zone. Washington 0 for 4. Usually you're 0 for 4 in the red zone, you're going to lose, but somehow they found a way to win as they kept getting those field goals. As I said, Hopkins, 5 field goals in the game. He was clutch. Of course, there was a couple big touchdowns, some big plays by those receivers of the Redskins, Crowder and Jackson to be specific. But in the red zone for the Giants, they were 2 for 5, 40% in the red zone. And the time of possession, 33 minutes, 26 seconds for the Redskins, 26 minutes, 34 seconds for the Giants. But this one could have went either way, but the Redskins making the play down the stretch. They just kept chipping away, just kept getting those field goals. 5 field goals for Hopkins. Got to give him a game ball for sure. And then, of course, Cravens, the rookie, stepping up with that fourth quarter interception at Eli to secure the victory. But let me know what you think in the comments section below. Definitely interested to read your thoughts and opinions. Thank you very much for listening. It is greatly appreciated. I hope you're having a good day and had a great weekend and enjoyed all the sports.